I got one last piece of equipment before I climb. This here belt looking thing. Any wagers is what it might be called?
Belt.
Yeah, it's exactly right. It's a belt. Nice job, folks. All right, so with this, it's got a safety clip. So if you just try to smack on the front of it, well, it ain't gonna open for you. So what you gotta do is you gotta squeeze the back, and then it'll open. So squeeze the back, that safety on the back, and open it. Now it's important to know how to do before you get up to the top, because you're gonna have to take this off when you get up there. So make sure you understand how that works. Then you're gonna clip it going away from you, like this. It clips away. That'll make sure the belt lays flat. Then you're gonna step up, pass it around, clip in your other side. And now, once you're about here, this is where you'll call over either myself or Stumps. My name's Cletus, by the way. And we'll come and inspect your gear, make sure it's on right. We'll let you know if you need to redo it or not. But at this step, this is where one of us will be adjusting your belt. Very important step. So that way we can get the angle right, your gas will sink in well and all that. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna get your belt level, and then you're gonna put your toes against the base and lay back in your belt. Once you've done that, you can stick your elbows into your belly and just make fists in front of you. So that will help us judge. We just want to be just beyond your fists. I'll give us the perfect angle. All right, so I'm ready, but well, the safety rope I'm attached to, well, it ain't doing much good for me right now. Now this rope, as you can see, it's attached to me. It passes through the top of this pole, comes all the way down, passes through that magical donkey block there. Now that donkey block, well, it uses the power of friction to take off most of the force of the climber. So, just on the other end of that is my donkey, and that donkey, size and strength don't matter at all. Anyone can donkey for anyone. It's a real easy job, very simple. All he's got to do is walk back to take off all the slack, and it's just that simple. Now, even though it's a very easy job, the problem is, well, donkeys, they're very stubborn creatures, very stubborn. And you know, unless you're giving them all sorts of love and affection, well, they ain't never going to do what you want. So, before your donkey is ready to take off your slack and save your life, well, I got to give him a compliment. Hey, donkey. Well, shoot. Well, I think you remind me a whole bunch of the Tooth of Tom, because I just can't stop staring at you.
Logging camp.
All right. All right, so now he's satisfied. You know, his heart has been filled with joy and laughter. He's going to stand up, and he's just going to sit back all the way, putting all his weight into his harness, and that will keep this rope nice and taut. And now when this rope is taut, well, the donkey block's going to be doing most of the work, keep me safe. So, I'm about ready. So as I climb, what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to put my feet right together and turn my toes out. So my heels are together and my gaffs are right in front of me. All right, that way, when I'm like this, I can just push myself into the tree, back into my belt, and keeping all my weight back in my belt, it'll keep me right up there. So, what you're going to do to get started, get your belt about chest level, go real low, get a nice good kick it real good in there, and then stand up, straighten your leg out, get your other foot right next to it. When your legs are locked out like this, and you've got all your weight back in your belt, well, I'm not using any energy at all. All just my weight keeping me up and my skeleton I'm standing on. So here's a real good rest position. So this is where you want to get in between steps. So from here, to go a little higher, I'm going to move my belt up. So to do this, I'm going to throw my hips in as close to the pole as I can. And when I've done that, my belt goes loose so that I can move it up back to chest level. From here, I can take a couple more steps and pull my belt back in. A couple more steps. All right, so there's a nice rhythm to this. You just want to go step, step, belt, to get your feet same level. Small steps makes big progress here. If you take too big of steps, you're going to get stuck. So if you try to go really high, well, you can't get out of it. So just do small steps, no higher than your knee. Small steps. And I'm just straightening out my legs and pushing myself back into my belt. The more weight I have in my belt, the better my gaps are going to sink in. So, you also got to make sure you're kicking it real good so that they sink in. So trees, don't feel bad about hurting them. We're all loggers now. And as loggers, well, trees are sworn enemies. So don't feel bad about hurting them one bit. Now it is your first day as logger, so I understand if that's still something of a mental hang-up, hurting these trees and such. So maybe instead of thinking about being on a spar pole, if you're having trouble kicking them, imagine you're standing on something you hate, just you really hate. So for me, what I like to do is instead of thinking about being on a big old spar pole, what I'll think about is that I'm just on one big box of kittens. And then I don't have any problem kicking them at all. So, well, they make me sneeze, and I just can't stand it. So, I just imagine I'm on some kittens, give them a real good kick. Meow, meow. And if you miss, you might just have to give it another good kick. Yeah. All right, so we're just gonna do that all the way up, step, belt. Real simple. Now, it does take some getting used to. So you might, on your first time doing this, you might fall a little bit. That's no problem at all. See, I didn't go anywhere. My rope stayed taut the whole time. My donkey saved my life.
You're welcome.
And you know what? I bet he didn't feel a thing. Yeah.
I didn't actually notice.
He didn't notice at all. So, don't be afraid to be donkey. As long as that rope's tight, nothing bad's going to happen. Real easy job. All right, so once I've fallen, to get out of this, what I want to do is get my belt about waist level again, so it's level. Then I'm going to push myself away from the tree, getting all my weight back. Then I can sink my gaffs in below me, just lay back, take a load off, catch my breath, enjoy the view. And when I'm ready, well, then I'll just keep climbing to the top.
Meow.
All right, so some of you may notice, once you get to the top here, well, these poles start to wiggle a little bit.
Break it.
Oh, I'm gonna break it this time. All right, well, don't let that freak you out one bit. Remember, we use these as cranes, and we'll haul around 2-ton logs. So you sure ain't gonna break it. So don't let that freak you out. Whew. So, once you've made it up here, well, you've accomplished something most people will never be able to say they've done. And that's awesome. So, you gotta let the world know how awesome you are with a manly yell of triumph. Now, y'all meet Boss Man yet?
Yeah.
No one met Boss Man?
I'm a boss man.
I'm at boss
When
man.
you do get that great honor and pleasure of meeting Boss Man, he's just truly the most manly man I've ever met in my life. Very manly man. See, when he gets to top one of these poles, what Boss Man yells is, "I love my mama." That's very manly. I can't think of anything more manly. So, I like to model my yell after his because it's so manly. See, what I yell is, "I love Boss Man's mama." Yeah, she sends us cookies from time to time. Real popular lady. All right, so now next thing you gotta do once you're up here, this is very important, so don't forget to do it, is you gotta take in this view. Now, this is one of the best views you'll find up here in these mountains. I can see all Tooth Ridge, starting with the Tooth of Time, Schaefer's Peak, Black Mountains over there. Behind me is Trail Peak, Fowler Mesa, and right in front of me I'm looking at Uraka Mesa and all the plains out past Cimarron. So take that in. Then when you're ready, like I'm getting to, well, it's time to come down. And I got one last thing to do before I come down, and it's just awful. Just disgusting. I hate having to do it, but it's the only way we can come down. But I don't want to see any of you recruits doing this anywhere else but the top one of these poles. See, what we got to do, we got to become tree huggers. So hopefully you're not too practiced at this. What you're going to do is you're going to pull yourself in. Then this is where you got to unclip that belt. You'll unclip that. Pass it around the pole and just place it over your shoulder.
For sure.
Once you've done that, well, you can just sit back in your harness. Your donkey's got you. You can hang on to the rope that's attached to you. While I'm ready to come down, But when you see my donkey, I need him to do something else. And you know how stubborn they can be. He doesn't want to do nothing. See, all I need him to do is start to walk forward slowly, giving me slack. But right now, he still thinks we're going up. So to let him know I'm ready to come down, I got to give him another compliment. Something to warm his heart a little bit more. Hey, donkey.
Yeah.
Well, are you a box of saltines? Because you're premium.
Oh God. You're salty.
I'm about to jump off.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well, then when he finally gets it, he'll let you down. And all I'm going to do is sit back and tiptoe my way down.
Oh, tiptoe on the window.
So just sit back. You might swing a little bit. It's a lot of fun. Don't let it freak you out. So I'm just going to keep my toes on the pole the whole time. I don't want to swing away from it because then I might miss and get splinters all over. So just tiptoe down. Your donkey's just going to walk ever so slowly all the way down.
This is environmental.
All the way down.
Is the ability to just walk.
That sure looks fun.
And then once I'm down and touch the bottom, donkey's come all the way forward to the donkey block so I can get all this slack, get my gear off.
Jump off. This lets us cringe.
All right.